What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I am back with my own review of the Belle Collective. They have returned. I'm so happy they returned, but this episode pissed me off. I will be putting up my reviews for Married to Medicine and Potomac late. I'm starting from episode 2 because episode 1 was fillers. Everybody's going to give Robin the energy, the reading that she's been giving to everybody else about their relationship. The Married to Medicine episode was pretty much an introduction to everybody back in the group, an introduction to Phaedra being a part of the group, and an introduction to Gregory's fiance, Sweet Tea, into the group. That was it. Now let's get into this episode. So, dun 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 dun, Tambra is pregnant. She's the one that was in the fertility office doing the ultrasound, and she is excited. Damon is super happy. This is a first time that they're experiencing seeing a baby in an ultrasound. Damon don't have any children. Tambra has been worrying about if she can have children. We've seen her journey with fibroids and everything. She's had multiple surgeries, and now that she is a living testimony of you can have fibroids, you have difficulties of being pregnant, but here I am, living proof I'm pregnant. So her and Damon have been getting it in the way that it was presented the first part of the season. But now that she is pregnant, she is a high-risk pregnancy. Not because of her age, but because of the multiple surgery that she's had. So she has to have a C-section, not a vaginal birth. The doctors want to keep a close eye on her to make sure she's safe, she's calm, no stress, and all of that so she can be ensured to have a healthy pregnancy and also deliver a healthy baby. And this was way early in the year, around January of this year. So I think she had the baby now. I hear she had a girl. So I'm very happy for Tambra, very happy for Damon. Moving on, we got Gucci. Gucci invited Letitia to a boo store because Gucci is inviting all the Belles to a rodeo. It's a big deal in Jackson. They go every year. And while being at the boo store, Letitia finds herself flirting with the salesman. He was a cute little salesman, but he looked like he was about 19 years old. Probably still got Similac on his breath. And she's all about flirting with him, making up a sexy lyric. And I'm like, Letitia, you're not going to do nothing. You all about Glenn. And here she is in the confessional talking about, let me not say too much before Cliff run and tell Glenn what I said. I said, go and run and tell Glenn. At the end of the day, you're not going to go nowhere. You're not going to flirt with nobody. You're not going to act like you're going to get with anybody because you're all about Glenn. Miss me. So, obviously, Gucci ain't got nothing else to talk about but Latrice. They want to mention how Latrice acted at Letitia's empowerment brunch because the way that they want to now read into Latrice's comment about who the fuck wants to work a 9 to 5 and adding how she was drinking too much. She wasn't even drinking a mimosa. She kept drinking Remy, and it wasn't a brunch. It was like a barbecue, and how dare she say this around other people. I said, y'all gonna miss me with this shit. It annoyed me when I even reviewed that episode that Gucci and Marie made it such a big deal and want to read it off as a negative that Latrice said, who the fuck wants to work a 9 to 5? Who the fuck does? No one wants to work a 9 to 5. Not a 10 to 4, not a 2 to 8, 11 to 7. No one wants to work a 9 to 5. And there was a clip that surfaced on Twitter after that episode aired that had the whole conversation that Latrice never said nothing bad. She gave kudos, gave credit for people who have 9 to 5 because making out to be an entrepreneur is hard as hell. So good that you have a 9 to 5 job. Good. Work through that. Work your way of trying to have your side hustle and all the rest. Like, she was giving credit. Not what. She wasn't coming down on anybody. Who the hell was offended? Not nobody but Gucci and Marie because they don't like Latrice. That's pretty much it. And why y'all making it seem as if Latrice said something so problematic and wrong when there was a woman on the panel that talked about how there aren't $1 million homes in Jackson? That made everybody else feel offended. That offended everybody that there aren't $1 million homes in Jackson when that's not true. Hence so why Gucci was brought up on stage, her being a real estate agent, said, let me correct that, there are $1 million homes in Jackson. So that was more offensive than anything else. Y'all can miss me with that shit. Y'all really can. Like, get the hell out of here with that shit. Then Gucci had the nerve to tell Letitia that Latrice gets away with so many things. You never call her out. You have got to be fucking kidding me, Gucci. You are so fake. Gucci, Latrice has not gotten away with shit. You called her out because she didn't inform you and communicate with you that she was working with another realtor. You had a conversation, you let it go, but you wasn't ready to let it go at that point. You wanted to be rude to her, like when she came to your boot camp. You made it such a problem that she came late, but then Marie came late. You didn't say nothing to her. You came to her wig event on some fucked up energy And when Selena came, then you had that confrontation with her that ended up in a fight. You wanted to blame Latrice on that, saying how Latrice probably set you up to fight Selena. Not true. Like, get out of my face with this, Gucci. Get out of my face. And let's not forget, you had an argument with Latrice when y'all went to that throwing accent thing. And you mentioned how Cliff and Latrice and Selena could have had a situation. You got up and being aggressive like you were before. Like, you can get out of my face with this, Gucci. You really, really can. And you still have not apologized to Latrice about how you acted at her event. You have not checked in on her, but she checked in on you. You can really miss me with that. You have not apologized for your behavior that you've acted. Miss me. Marie, same thing. You always have an expression on your face how you don't like Latrice. You have such a hard on. It's an obsession you have with Latrice that is mind-boggling to me. She hasn't done shit to you, okay? And you have not even taken accountability with how you treated Tambra. You got reached out by her boyfriend and you want to find out if it was true, if it wasn't true. And that really hurt Tambra. And you don't even think that you hurt her. Like, y'all can really miss with that. Letitia has not held Marie accountable for that. And Letitia was a part of it. So y'all really can miss me with you guys are responding to Latrice as if she's done something to y'all when y'all have done things to her. And she's responding to the bullshit you guys are throwing at her. And Gucci talking about there were people that was offended. They didn't like it. Who was offended? Who? I would love to know. Who? Then you're painting her out to be an alcoholic because she was drinking Remy, she was drinking mimosas. I said, listen, Letitia, don't give your speakers a round of shots before they come on stage. And you know that Latrice has a problem with public speaking. That's why she went to you for help. So you trying to paint her out to be as if she did not know what she was talking about. She needed some tools. Then well, fucking help her then. What the fuck were you doing when she came to you for help? You wasn't giving her no help. You wanted to let her out in the wolves with no help. Let her out with no protection. Like, what the hell? Did you make her look bad on purpose, Latrice, to get out of my head? Oh, let me calm down. Because it's really pissing me off with this. Because Letitia's not even looking at herself in the situation. That's why what happened. You don't give your panelists shots before they get on stage. You don't have them drink when they're on stage. How about don't have them drink before they get off the stage? How about that? Y'all really can miss me with that. Y'all really can. Now she's regretting having her as a panelist. And, you know, how this is not women empowerment. I said, Letitia, let's be clear. You have not shown women empowerment since you've been on this season. You have not. You weren't there for Tambra. When Marie came at her about her ex. You wanted to check Latrice if she did set Gucci up. You didn't even hear her side. Like, you can miss me with that. Don't sit up here and lie. You didn't even give Akeisha a chance to be on the show because you felt the way about how Akeisha was coming in with way more credentials, way more action than her words of trying to help Ferris Street. Miss me with that. You can really miss me with that. You really can. At the first brunch, Marie made a mockery of your event when she wanted to come at Latrice about her business. Like, with that Bo Peep outfit. Get out of here. Like, Letitia always look for someone else to blame and she never looks at herself. And that's annoying to me. So, Marie is at her empty facilities talking to Essie. Hey, Essie. And they're talking about acquiring another property to get certified. And she has a lupus gala coming up. You know, Marie is a survivor of lupus. Well, can't even say a survivor of lupus because there's no cure for it. But it's an autoimmune disease that attacks itself. Essie also has lupus. I wasn't aware of. So the gala is to bring awareness, let everybody else learn about it. And while there is no cure, there's research coming. And Letitia came to talk about acquiring another property because she partnered with Hamilton and Davis to find properties to make assisted living homes like rehabilitation centers, senior citizen homes, which is a great idea. But how did Letitia acquire it? What does Letitia do? I know that she's a motivational speaker. Is she in real estate? Again, we've never really seen Letitia do anything as far as the brunches. Well, what else does she do? So with having the success of working with Letitia and her acquiring new property, she has another property that she wants them to find and look into before she presents it to the client. And then I just don't like this whole front that Letitia is giving about selling women empowerment when she doesn't even show it for herself. And you know, Letitia, you can't talk about how you enjoy when women come together if you are always in conversation about dragging another woman. You're always in a conversation about tearing another woman down. So I don't sense this women empowerment thing you're doing. So Essie brings up a video of an interview that Latrice did. Marie claims she has not been on social media. Sure, that's because Essie has been looking on social media for you. And in that clip, Latrice was answered a question about how she is with the other ladies. Are they her friends? She said, they're not my friends. They are my co-workers. They don't talk outside of filming. They don't meet outside of filming. And it is what it is. I don't know why Marie is feeling away, but Latrice was like, oh, really? Now, she's already flipping about feeling away about how Latrice calls them her co-workers, which is evidently what y'all are. And Letitia, you have not been a real friend to Latrice. You haven't. So, apparently before that interview, she FaceTimed Letitia asking her about makeup, asking her about where to hang out soon, something like that. But I feel like then Letitia didn't apply to you, that she only looks as your co-worker. If you had a conversation with her about meeting up to hang out or going buy some makeup, then it didn't apply to you. You wanted it to apply to you because you wanted to have someone else to tell you what you should do, because you look for validation. Letitia don't really have a mind of her own when it comes to engaging with other people about their problems. She brings up what other people have said to her, because she takes on what they have said and add it to her own thoughts, which isn't her own thoughts. But since Letitia don't know how to stand on her own 2 feet, she's allowing for everybody else with a barrier in her back to act in a way so she can act in that way that they want her to act, which is like a mindless drone, if you ask me. So now Marie is like, oh, you see how she calls you your co-worker? You see, she's never been a friend because she's an opportunist and she's using you and she wants your life. I want to throw my remote at the screen to aim it directly at Marie's head. What makes you think that Latrice wants Letitia's life? Latrice has a great life. Latrice has a beautiful home, a successful business. I don't know about the husband, but she has a pretty decent life. What does she want from Letitia? You saying that she wants to see, you want her to sit on the couch waiting for paternity results and her husband cheating on her and possibly carry the child? You want her to constantly deal with her husband following her, putting a tracking device, a listening device in her car? What do you want her to do? I'm confused. It don't make no sense. I wouldn't want Letitia's life. What does Letitia have that Latrice wants? I don't know. What is it about y'all? And the first thing y'all want to say about somebody is they want their life. What? Life? I don't understand that. Like, y'all can really miss me with that. What? It don't make no sense. It really, really don't. So, when it came down to how Marie is clearly obsessed with Latrice, and that Letitia can never see the wrong that Latrice be doing. Like, she never calls her out. She can never think she's doing anything wrong. I feel like, Marie, that's you. Like, you have a hold on Letitia, how she can never hold you accountable for anything. Because it didn't make any sense to me when you want to say that when Letitia was starting out with her brunches, Latrice wasn't asking her for help, but now that you're being booked and busy, now she wants to ask for help. As if Latrice wasn't booked and busy before. Like, you trying to say the speaking engagements are only for Letitia? Nobody else can have a speaking engagement? Like, that don't make no sense. What are you smoking? What piece of the pie? Piece of what pie? Everybody else's success practically grown since being on the show, but it was from the success they have endured that brought them to the show. Like, what are you talking about, Marie? And you trying to say how she's in a competition with Letitia? What competition? Latrice don't compare herself to nobody. She don't think about nobody. She don't think about her. I believe that you, Marie, are in competition with Latrice, and Gucci's in competition with Latrice, and so is Letitia. I think because you guys are looking at her age, that she was able to make a success and be successful at an earlier age than you guys were. And you guys are pretty much mad about that. Like, her life is pretty much set up great. And you want to find a problem, you want to find a hole to nitpick. Like, it's really annoying me. It really, really is. And Marie, Latrice has defended you so many times, it's gotten me annoyed that she never calls you out. And how dare you? Like, how dare you? You have so much animosity towards someone who hasn't done nothing to you. Literally did nothing to you. Like, did we forget the first season when she came on the show trying to embarrass Latrice's business wearing that Bo Peep outfit? And with her first, she responded, and then she did nothing to you from that point. You just kept on coming after her. Kept on, which is giving obsession. And here you go, coming down on the fact that you know that Latrice has a problem with public speaking, but yet you say she is someone who cannot be taught. She is ghetto, she's ratchet, she's hood. You cannot teach her. Says the bitch who has an addict mom who came on the show. Way out of my face this one. We can come at you. We really can go after you. So you are in no position looking down on Latrice or where she came from, as if she did not make something out of herself and that she cannot be taught to how to speak proper. Like, ooh, get out of my face. And Letitia, you talking about women empowerment, how we're supposed to lift each other up and not tear each other down. Marie just sat there and spoke about Latrice in a bad manner, and you didn't say nothing. You allowed it to happen. Either you are acting completely dumb, or you're allowing it to play out because you're trying to sway the conversation about you and your husband, because you probably got a lot of backlash from how you are staying with your husband. Nobody believes you will ever leave your husband, and that you're tired of people calling you stupid. You're tired of people saying you ain't gonna do nothing. So now you want to sway the conversation of not it being about you and it to being about Latrice. Okay, same thing with Marie. Same thing to Gucci. Because you're not going to convince me that Latrice has been the main problem, the main issue. You are not about to convince me otherwise. That's not going to happen. So moving on from that, Latrice and Tamra meet up for a drink. Tamra is still keeping her pregnancy under wraps, which is fine. And Latrice talks about how she was happy that Gucci came to her. Basically saying how Latrice and Gucci don't have a relationship. That's fine. She's not asking for a relationship. She can coexist. She can be cordial. Because knowing that she hasn't done anything to them, and all she has done is responded to them, and they want to keep coming at her, they want to harp on things and make it bigger than what it was, that is their problem, not hers. And Latrice announced to Tamra that she has fibroids. She knows she's been bleeding a lot. She's had heavy periods. And knowing that she was in conversation about having children with Cliff, but finding out that she has had fibroids, she was wondering, could that have affected me not getting pregnant? Because I remember in the beginning of the first season, she removed herself from the bedroom with Cliff. And then she was spending out at her mother's house or her brother's house to get away. But now that she's back at home, she mentions how Cliff and her have sex sometimes twice a day. I don't believe it, but fine. And she's not trying to get pregnant, but throughout their entire relationship, they've had unprotected sex, and she's never gotten. So, just wondering, could that be affected? Could that be an issue? I said it can't just be you. Could be, Cliff is an older age, and he probably can't even have children anymore. And Tamara did come on the show explaining how she's had fibroids. While fibroids can affect it, it doesn't have to. And it pretty much targets African-American women in this world, fibroids and what it can do, and there's still so much that women have to learn with having to deal with them. I myself have fibroids. I developed fibroids 3 years after having my son, and the first thing I thought about was, would I be able to have children? And there wasn't a lot of information on what fibroids can and what it can't do, and I just took a leap of faith, and I ended up having my daughter in 2020. And I still deal with having fibroids. I still deal with having longer periods, heavy periods, and I am on birth control. So all of that does take effect on my menstrual system. But Tamra is very happy that Latrice decided to confide in her about this, because she knows that Tamra has the knowledge about it. Tamra even went to the point of reaching out to Congress to plan a bill to help other women learn about what fibroids can do, how you can learn to live with them, what are your steps if you're trying to have children. And that's a big thing. I'm here for that. Tamara wants to be a voice. She wants to be an advocate for people who aren't ready to speak up, and I'm here for it. And I enjoyed this entire conversation. So then we get to Gucci. It is the day of the rodeo event. Everybody came in their cowboy attire, and it was surprising to some people who lived in Jackson all their lives and they've never been to a rodeo show. I would like to go to a rodeo show. I would. When Latrice and Gucci hugged, they both gave good energy, but Latrice is hoping that Gucci is over the drama, because she is too. We'll see. Excuse me. Letitia came in with Glenn. She feels some type of way about seeing Latrice because she said she made such a huge mess at her brunch, which I'm sick of Letitia blaming Latrice for. And based off the battery that was put in your back by Marie and Gucci, you want to be fake and phony in front of Latrice, and I can't stand it. And everybody's enjoying the rodeo. There was a bull that weighed 1,800 pounds that Willie decided to sit on. I said, as big as you are and as big as that bull, oof, man, but the bull stood. He held him. So while they were watching the rodeo show, you know, they had to rope the cattle, and Tamara was like, is this like animal abuse? Is this legal? You know, seeing the somewhat cruelty that animals do get when they're in the ranch life, you can, yeah, it could look like that. But I enjoyed it. Then Glenn ended up asking Cliff to sit behind him and Letitia, and Letitia felt the way about it because she don't like how Cliff has been giving Glenn bad advice on how he should navigate his relationship. And apparently Glenn just got back home, and she's explained to him how she felt, and she wants him to be on the right page, so don't be adding more problems that we don't need, okay? And knowing that Cliff has been giving Glenn bad advice, but you're not going to act like Glenn hasn't been the master of his own demise this entire time. Like, you're not about to do that. So since everybody has had a good time at the rodeo, they want to keep the good energy going, so Gucci invited everybody out to drink at the bar. Marie decided to show up late without her cowboy attire because she had to drop off her daughter at dance practice. And when she was able to sit down at the bar, she ended up sitting next to Tambra and Latrice, and she is instantly bothered. I said, Marie, if you didn't want to come, you didn't have to. Because I don't like how you want to play the victim. I really don't like it. How you're always attacked by other people, it's giving bullshit. And you have such a huge obsession for Latrice, it's disturbing. And what's bullshit to me is how you never even held yourself accountable for what you did to Tambra. You reached out to an ex of hers to find out she lied. That was dangerous. And you still don't think what you did was wrong? Okay. You point out how nobody else has accountability, but you don't as well. Like, miss me. It is a clear division in the group between Latrice and Tambra. Absolutely. Everybody else versus Latrice and Tambra. That's it. So then Marie decides to have a conversation, but to me, she was interrogating Glenn about how he don't treat Letitia right. He allows for other people to be first. Then she mentions the friendship that Cliff and Glenn have been developing. And I'm just like, Marie, sit back. It really annoyed me because if Letitia wants to blame Cliff of the bad advice he's giving Glenn, then you need to look at the bad advice Marie has given you. At the same time, Glenn and Letitia both have to put their own thoughts, their own feelings in their relationship and not give anybody else license to have anything to say. Like, I didn't like the way that Marie was attacking Glenn because they haven't seen each other since Marie had that apartment for Letitia and Glenn popped up on them. And Glenn wanted to, you know, explain the difference of the friendship between him and Cliff and Marie and Letitia. I feel like Marie's way too invested in Letitia's life that Letitia allows, and Glenn is the same way with Cliff. Cliff has too much to say about Glenn's relationship. Both of y'all have to put up boundaries of what not to talk about. Stop telling Marie every single thing that goes on in your relationship with Glenn, and Glenn do the same thing with Cliff, okay? So then Letitia tells the girls that Glenn has been acting differently lately. You know, one minute he's super nice, super sweet. He asked me to a comedy show, but then the next day he mentions how he's not a part of my image because Cliff wanted to send Glenn an article about how you should navigate a couple, or how a couple should navigate conversation, or how a couple should be and act. And that's as far as, like, you know, the advice he's been giving him. He's been acting different. Like, that's not how a woman's supposed to be. You know how this is supposed to, how a woman's supposed to act, and this, and that, a third. And I was with Akeisha. Why is Cliff giving advice? Is this the same advice he gave to Glenn outside of Gucci's party? Yeah, no. I mean, I said in my review that Glenn is no different than Cliff. Glenn came on the show fucked up. The man was talking to other women. The man had you sitting on the reunion couch waiting for paternity results. The man followed you. He put a tracking device in your car. You had a listening device. Like, what are you talking? Like, Glenn is no different than Cliff. I would think Glenn's worse. So, like, I don't like the way that Letitia wants to blame everything that Glenn has been doing based off of him having a friendship with Cliff, as if Glenn did not come fucked up before the show. Like, during the show. Like, I don't understand. Like, Cliff has no business giving advice at all, because he needs to understand his situation. He is probably this close into losing Latrice if he don't shaping up. And I already said it more than once. Letitia and Glenn need to stop putting everybody else's feelings and opinions in their relationship. That's what they should not be doing. So then, here goes Letitia, wants to be more fake and messy by bringing up the interview that Latrice did. And I said, Letitia, I thought you weren't going to bring this up. And you hope that nobody else didn't bring this up because you want to have a conversation with Latrice one-on-one. But here you are talking about her while she's at the end of the bar. What are you talking about? You mad about Cliff and his friendship with your husband, and then you want to add Latrice in the mix. That don't work for me. You're fake. You are so fake right now, Letitia. So, of course, the interview talking about how everybody's just a co-worker to her. Akeisha didn't feel no way because she believes it's the same thing. Her and Latrice don't have a friendship. It's cool. But then to find out that Letitia's feeling away because she did believe that they were friends. And Letitia's like, yeah, we have a big sister, little sister relationship. But if you are a big sister in this moment, Letitia, you're not acting like one. Here you are talking to everybody else but your little sis about what's been going on. And you're telling everybody else what's going on. And everybody's telling you what you should do instead of you doing it for yourself. She is right there at the end of the bar and you're talking about her. You're listening to everybody else give negative advice about her because you know they don't like her, except for Akeisha. And then when it came down to bringing you up, she didn't mention anything. When it came down to the Ferris Street, she didn't mention nothing. Like, I don't think she was coming down on you because I feel like, what is the meaning of tearing down to you, Letitia? Because I don't hear her tearing nobody else down when they come out. When they come after her first, then she tears them down. But she don't tear them down off rip. It's responding. You, however, allow for everybody else to tear her down everywhere you go. Like, you're not acting like a big sister in this moment. You're not. You're bringing up an issue. You're talking about her drinking. And it's not coming across as if you have something that you want to really talk to her about. That's not coming across for me. Not really. Now, Akeisha, she's coming from a place of understanding why is she in this space. That's why she's been talking to Latrice this season. Like, if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I understand how you're feeling. Everybody else just want to be mean and rude to her. So then Letitia has Latrice come over because Latrice has a upcoming speaking engagement at Hines Community College, a cosmetology school, and she's never spoken to her peers, so she wants some help. Now, she's nervous, of course, because that's where her profession came from. She's never spoken to anyone about it, about her story, so she wants to be sure she's explaining her story nice and clear. And Letitia was being fake because she started off with congratulating her, and then she mentioned how everybody was offended of what she said at the panel. She said, who would I offend? It was a 9-to-5 comment. I am so sick of y'all making it seem as it was coming down on people being 9-to-5 workers when they're not. She mentions, my mom works at 9-to-5. My sister works at 9-to-5. I'm not coming down to people working 9-to-5. 9-to-5 was when the world go round. So you really trying to make this to a storyline, because when she said, who wants to work a 9-to-5, it's justifying it by being honest. It's the truth. Like, you're really trying to paint her out to be the bad guy when I said it earlier in the episode. There was a woman who didn't even know there were $1 million homes in Jackson. That's a tear down on the people of Jackson. That there aren't nice homes to live in Jackson. Like, that's hurtful than saying 9-to-5. And then in this moment, all Letitia could do is mention how many times that Latrice was drinking. And then she mentions the way that she needs to think before she speak. Do I need to say this? Is it a point for me saying it right now? And does it affect me? But here you are tearing her down that all she did was drink. And how many times you counted that she kept on drinking Remy instead of a mimosa. Like, you're saying as if she has no respect for her career, no respect on how other people react and feel. You're painting her out to be an alcoholic right now. And you're not, how could you not see that you're doing that to her? You putting 20 on 10 about how she ruined the brunch, and you're tearing her down, and you're thinking that she's not taking accountability and she's getting offended. She's getting offended by you talking about how she's an alcoholic. That's what she's getting offended off of. I will say it again. You should have not have given your panelists liquor to drink. That's what you should not have been doing. That's bad on you. You fake as hell, Letitia. You are so fucking fake. You have never defended Latrice against any of the women, and you've never will. The mention of the interview, the first thing you did was talk about, oh, I'm just a co-worker. When it was about you and Glenn, she didn't answer it because she doesn't talk about that. She doesn't want to talk about that. She's protecting you if you think about it. But all you can do is keep on going off if I'm just a coworker. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I feel like, Letitia, you wanted this moment so that way you don't get questioned later on about, did you check her? Did you tell her? Like, did you talk to her? That's what I'm believing. Because you're running off of how everybody else is feeling than yours. Like, she apologized for the moment of calling you a coworker. She told you you're more than just a coworker. But that went over your head. And you want to continue to tear her down about how much you defended her, how she stabbed you in the back. And I'm just like, so I haven't seen you defend her, Letitia. If you have, does it only make it look good for you, or do you care that you defend her? Because you allow for everybody else to talk about her. You give your 2 cents in. And then when everything comes out, you act surprised, you act oblivious, as if you don't know what anyone else is talking about. You didn't give her a chance to speak. You wanted to hurry up and get everything. Everybody's been coming to you about how they felt about Latrice, and you wanted to tell her about it. Because it really bothers me. It bothers me so much. And you're not about to sit here and tell her how she cannot be held accountable when she's telling you the same thing. Who has she not been held accountable for? Like, what hasn't? And who did she tear down? Who? And then you mentioned Gucci, how Gucci didn't do anything because she came at her first. Gucci came at her first, so she said, you ain't sold me shit. Point blank, period. Marie came at her first and she responded. Like, you can really miss me with that. Letitia, you're fake as hell. You always, I feel like you have this dumb blonde moment about things when you don't listen. So she's saying, if I'm a problem, I will eliminate myself from the situation. I will be gone. You won't ever have to worry about me because these bitches are not on my mind not one moment of the day. So it be bullshit though. And then here you go again. Letitia, you have the audacity. You deserve to get punched in the fucking face. Of how I'm pouring into you, I'm allowing you, I'm building you up, and you trying to tear me down and compete with me. Who gave you that cockamamie idea? Who? Marie. Marie put so much in your brain that you believe that Marie had a point to say that Latrice is jealous of you, and you believe that she's in a competition with you. You gotta be out your fucking mind. You think that she wanted to compete with you by asking for your help and then turning around and tearing you down. How did she do that? How? And that was it. Latrice looked visibly hurt in that moment. She said, I have already been hurt and brought down the way that my husband treats me. But hearing this 10 times worse. She was extremely hurt. She said, I gotta go by. That was some bullshit. How Letitia literally went all the way around to tear down Latrice about how her drinking, her 9-to-5 comment, and you want to talk about women empowerment, but yet you tore her down in that moment, and she's telling you, you're not about to tear me down, and here you go saying, how could you say I'm tearing you down? You don't take accountability, because you just tore her down. You did. Letitia, you did. And then you have the audacity to believe that Marie has a point with saying how she's trying to compete as if you're the only one who can have a speaking engagement. It's bad that Latrice was able to get contacted by a college, a cosmetology college. Like, are you really that? I can't. Y'all pissing me off. Y'all really can. But, man, I think I went too ahead. This video was way too long because it pissed me off. It pissed me off. But, y'all, that's pretty much it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.